We continued our visit in Hampi, and the next spot we visited was the nobleman's quarters. It is believed that these quarters were built for the purpose of accommodating important guests. Another belief is that the high ranking officers and the military had lived here. Opposite to the nobleman's quarters is the Prasanna Virupaksha or underground Shiva temple. Prasanna Virupaksha temple is one of the oldest temples in Hampi, built during the reign of the Vijayanagara Empire. It is one of the popular temples that are visited by tourists on the Hampi Trail. The Prasanna Virupaksha temple dates back to the 14th century AD. The temple is dedicated to Prasanna Virupaksha, an avatar of Lord Shiva. The temple has remained buried for over 400 years before it was discovered in the 1980s. It is believed that Vijayanagara ruler Krishnadevaraya had donated extensively to this temple. The location of the temple and its proximity to the nobleman's quarters indicates that the temple might have been used by the members of the royal family of Vijayanagara for their private ceremonies. An interesting fact about the Prasanna Virupaksha temple is that it is located a few meters below the ground level. The roof of the temple is at par with the present ground level, while the main structure of the temple stands on a low-lying area. The reason behind such a unique location for the construction of the temple is not known. Another thing to note is that the sanctum of the temple remains submerged under stagnant water throughout the year. During the monsoon season, extending from June to August, the water level rises inside the temple and submerges the floor of the Maha Mandapa and other mandabas. The Senana enclosure was a fortified and secluded area reserved for the royal ladies of the Vijayanagara Empire. The Senana enclosure is located in the area approaching the royal enclosure and near the Ranga temple. The word Senana is partly originated from Urdu and partly from Persian. It means an exclusive area meant for women folk. The enclosure is a sprawling compound that had tall walls surrounding it on all sides and watchtowers to keep guard against any trespassers. It was constructed during the days of the Vijayanagara Empire. It is one of the few places in Hampi that requires a ticket for entry. The water pavilion is located opposite to the palace base and at the eastern side of the enclosure. The water pavilion is a decorated platform situated in the center of a shallow pool. The Queen's Palace is a ruined structure that has only the basement as a proof of its existence. The basement is located in the center of the Zenana enclosure. The basement has an area of about 46 by 29 meters. It is the largest palace base excavated among the Hampi ruins so far. The elaborate base is a three-tiered ornate structure that suggests that The original palace might have been a grand structure. There is a deep rectangular water tank near the basement. It was probably used as a source of water for the palace. The highlight of the Zenana enclosure is the Lotus Mahal or Kamal Mahal, one of the most remarkable structures in Hampi. Though most of the structures within the enclosure are in a ruined condition, the Lotus Mahal is in an undamaged condition. It provides ample scope for visitors to admire the exceptional and distinctive architecture used for the design of the structure. It is located in the southeastern corner of the enclosure. It is one of the most famous structures in Hampi and one of the very few structures that have been left undamaged by the Mughal attackers. It is a beautiful domed structure and has been designed in the shape of a lotus. The archways of the structure resemble petals of a lotus and provide the whole structure the shape of a half opened lotus bud. The Lotus Mahal is a two-storied symmetric structure that has tall arched windows. A distinctive feature about the Sanana enclosure is that it was a well guarded place during the days of the Vijayanagara Empire. The fortified area has two entrances, one in the northern side and the other in the northeastern side. The enclosure initially had four watchtowers, but now there are just three watchtowers which are located in the eastern, southeastern, and northern sides of the enclosure. The presence of these three watchtowers indicates that the enclosure was a protected area that offered privacy to the royal women of the Vijayanagara Empire, including the Queen. It is believed that the watchtowers and the whole enclosure were guarded by the eunuchs. These eunuchs prevented any male from entering the area. The only exception is believed to be the king, who had the right to visit his queen inside the enclosure. The structures of the Zenana enclosure are designed in the Indo-Islamic style of architecture. It is a deviation from the traditional Vijayanagara style of architecture seen in most monuments and structures in Hampi. The design of the structures in the Indo-Islamic style reflects the secular view of the rulers of the Vijayanagara Empire. Adjacent to the Sanana enclosure are the elephant stable and the guard house, which is now used as a sculpture gallery. One among the few least destroyed structures in Hampi, Elephant Stable is a major tourist attraction. This long building with a row of domed chambers was used to park the royal elephants. There are 11 dome tall chambers. Some of them are interconnected. The center one is specially decorated and big. Probably the musicians and the associated band troops had been using this during ceremonies involving elephant processions. The whole building looks symmetric with respect to the central hall. The tower of the central hall resembles, though mostly destroyed, more like that of temples. However, the five pairs of domes on either side are of Islamic in style. They are better preserved and of alternating patterns. Metal hooks used to tie the elephants on the inside roof can be seen. At the rear of each hall are small manhole type openings for the mahouts to enter the elephant compartments. You reach here through the Zanana enclosure. From here, you proceed to the guards' quarters and then maybe to the Renga temple located a bit south of it all. The guard house, which is now used as a sculpture gallery, is built at a right angle to the northern end of the elephant's stable and faces south. It is a rectangular building with a tall veranda at the front with an arched facade. On both sides of the entrance, there are sets of stairs that lead to the back veranda. After the veranda, there is an open courtyard in the middle, surrounded by a corridor with pillars and arches. At the far end of the front veranda, there are two entrances that lead to the inner corridor. Inside the guard's house, against the back wall of the veranda, there are various sculptures on display. These include sculptures of Shiva, Ganesha, Kalabhairava, Nandi, and Veerabhadra, which are examples of Shaiva sculptures. There are also sculptures of Anantashayana Vishnu, Lakshmi, and Garuda, which depict Vaishnava figures. Additionally, there are sculptures of Hanuman, Naga, Nagini, Mahasadi, hero stones, and Sapta Madrigas. Some of these sculptures show different stages of their creation, while others are finished works. You can also see the ruins of few temples in this area.